to the Squirrelcast. Wow, we're on the second episode, and we are already off schedule because I have things I have to do. But I am Darren Pettit. I am Darren Pettit, your host, also known as VGSquirrel. And to my left is the pun master himself, Devin. Not gonna say his last name once again. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
How good are you? On a scale from 1 to good, good being the top, just there's no great, excellent of it, just good. Hey, no elbows on the table.
Yes, brother.
Why? You just weren't ready for this kind of entertainment?
Okay, yeah, no, I was not ready. I am just freaking fantastic, man. How are you?
I said from 1 to good!
You're my friend there.
I'm glad you're doing well, buddy.
Okay.
Even though we've been talking for the past hour as I set up these lights. This is a great start.
Yes.
So this is episode 2 of the Squirrelcast. It's a podcast where we talk about whatever we want to talk about. We each bring a topic, but that might not be the format today, because screw the rules, we're on the second episode.
Consistency.
Oh, yeah. Just like my upload schedule. Consistent.
Consistently inconsistent, right?
Correct.
So.
Yeah, so speaking of that, we have a couple things to discuss before we get into our topics. One, Taylor is not on this episode today. He has other engagements. Whoa, crazy. And as I've said last week and maybe on other videos before we started the podcast, because I teased at the fact of starting to do a podcast on the 1-year anniversary video, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, the cast is not set in stone. Like, Devin, you might not be on every episode.
Good.
Oh. So, Taylor isn't going to be on every episode. You're not going to be on every episode, so, screw you, man.
Crying tears of
Joy.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, hey, didn't I upload a Zombies Ate My Neighbors episode on Halloween? And there was going to be a 2-part Halloween thing? Well, it's still coming. I've just had life stuff to go through, which I say probably every video that I have life stuff to deal with, but it's true. I have life stuff to deal with. This is the crazy world of post-college, trying to figure out how my life is going.
You're alive, you have a life, you have life stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens. But I always want to get content out when I can, so yeah, there's 2 Squirrelcasts in a row. So what? Gotta try and get some other videos out there, but, just the Marvel videos, still want to do those, and the Eternal Darkness will be the next video after this one.
Unless the next Amiibo trainer.
Yeah, I started recording Lucas, but then the Sonic Mania video took over, basically. Yeah. And then
timing.
Yeah. And then
I know
all the Sonic Mania stuff that we're not going to go into. So that's pretty much the update on, hey, what's going on with the channel, and if you don't watch the podcast, well then you didn't get the update.
People who are watching your mainline videos are probably going to be like, what the heck is this stuff in the podcast doing here? Yeah.
What is going on? What is going on?
And I said...
Which, hey, next Game Fear episode, which I was originally going to try and get out in November, which it'll not be December, maybe even January, because there's other videos I want to do first. You're in. It's the Pokemon Stadium 2 video.
Yes.
I cannot wait for that one to be done. We're not going to say the moment here, but there is one moment in there that we have been quoting for about 1.5 years now. Which also shows how long ago some Game Fears were filmed.
Good
times. But we're catching up on the Tallahassee ones. We're almost out of the Tallahassee Game Fears.
Thank God we're almost out of Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man. Tallahassee for a while. But not the videos. There's plenty of videos still from the Tallahassee
The party
of my
just
life.
died there and is buried somewhere.
Probably.
Yeah.
My toe. Anyway, so we each normally do, we bring up a topic and everything, but basically we've been watching like the same shows, and we decided we're just going to talk about, shows and movies. We decided we want to talk about these two things, and since this is an episode where a third person isn't on that, hasn't seen it, we felt like this was a good episode to talk about this stuff. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about Stranger Things Season 2, and probably just Stranger Things in general.
Right.
And then we're going to talk about Thor Ragnarok, which we watched it on the day Justice League came out.
No, it was the day before.
No, it was like...
It came out the 17th, right?
Yeah, but they do...
Oh, the night before,
like
midnight
7
or whatever.
Yeah. Well, they start them at 7 now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they used to do midnight screenings at midnight, and same with like Black Friday. Right. Like everything used to be at midnight.
So why don't they just say it comes out the 16th?
So yeah, I don't know why, but now basically 7 is midnight for some reason. I understand in our hometown, because our town dies at 8 a.m.
Yes.
8 p.m.
No, pretty much 8
a.m.
Yeah.
Our town's just dead.
Yes.
We struggle to survive. No.
This is where people go to retire and die, so...
Welcome to Florida! Just all of Florida. Just the whole thing. Oh, did you know we're from Florida, as I wear an FSU hat in every video? Crazy, right?
What?
And I'm wearing a Boston shirt. That's not confusing.
Yeah, why are you wearing a Boston shirt?
I got it with my old job when we went up to Boston. Oh, yeah. And I'm not gonna bring up the job just because.
No worries.
Yeah, just because I don't like to let people know what I used to do. I
killed a man.
Yeah. I was a trained sniper in the Navy SEALs.
You know what movie that's from, right?
No.
It's from Ratatouille.
Is it really?
Yes. There's like a blonde guy who just doesn't say anything the entire movie, and the one line he has is, "I killed a man with this thumb," and basically it's just the way of telling the main character, "Don't screw with me, man."
Is that is he telling it to the chef guy or the rat?
The chef guy.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I can't remember.
What?
Still going.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. What does that look?
Yeah, it's going.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
I'm keeping that in. I don't even care. But what were you saying?
I was just saying, normally, at least last time, we talked at least about video games a little bit, but this is your channel, we're going to talk about whatever, but it usually has to do with whether it's film or gaming or anything like that. It's all in the same vein. So.
Yeah, and this is my... No, I didn't silence my phone. I'm a jerk.
I'm just going to put mine down there.
I told Devin to silence his. Mine wasn't silenced. I don't even know if
Silented?
Yeah. Put on silent.
Silented. Do you mean silenced, my friend?
Silented. It's a new word. I'm making it go viral. Hashtag silented. Tell all your friends.
You're about to be silented, you know that? With this thumb.
Nice tie-in, bro.
So why don't we get talking about what we actually came here to talk about instead of Ratatouille.
So what do you want to talk about first? Stranger Things?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
So
actually, how about this? Since Thor is fresher in our minds, since that's the thing we saw most recently, why don't we just go with that, get it out of the way?
Okay. So Thor.
Ragnarok.
Do you want to start or you want me to start?
I would like to start because I feel like you're a more optimistic person than I am when it comes to these movies.
Yeah, sure.
And so we'll do bad cop, good cop.
Well, I think it might... I'm not going to be as good cop as you think.
On a scale of 0 to good, it's like a meh.
Okay, I'm not doing 0 to good on this scale. I'd say it's... Because I would say it's good. But like...
I would say it's Hollywood.
It's like it's just the normal Hollywood flair.
Exactly. Yeah. There's nothing special about it because it kind of reminded me at first about Guardians of the Galaxy 2 because that was a great movie because it was more focused on the hilarity and the slapstick comedy stuff.
I'm gonna go off topic already.
Oh god.
Guardians 1 or Guardians 2? Which one?
Guardians 2.
You like Guardians 2 better?
I like Guardians 2 better.
I liked 1 a lot better.
I know
like, I think about, we're going off topic on Thor, we'll get back to Thor, I promise. When it comes to Guardians 1,
Story was better in 1.
It might be because of the, and also just, I know the bumping's not as bad as I thought it would be, but let's just, just for the sake of it, let's try not to do that.
I am.
Can you please not say that?
I am. Alright. What?
Nothing wrong with being a woman, I'm just saying. You said I ma'am, right?
I know what I said.
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway.
So what did you have to say about Guardians 1?
So Guardians 1, now I know it was more of a surprise, and that might be why I liked it so much. Because the Guardians weren't, popular before the movie.
Neither was Suicide Squad, really.
I'm talking Marvel.
Okay.
I haven't even seen Suicide Squad.
Neither have I.
Either way. When it comes to Guardians, and I'd say the only... actually, I feel like a lot of the Marvel heroes, all of them got more popular, but Iron Man wasn't that. It was Spider-Man and X-Men was yeah. Avengers wasn't as popular, in the mainstream, which we are mainstream. We don't read comics. I'll read the occasional thing in Barnes & Noble, not by the book.
White crime.
I think they allow that, though.
Oh, yeah, they do. But you still feel dirty.
Yeah. You're it should support the official
I'm getting the info without paying for it.
Reference right there.
Yes.
But yeah. I read a Phoenix Wright thing in a Barnes & Noble that is now gone. Okay, going off topic again. With Dave, I think I've told you this before, but I remember talking about Barnes & Noble being oh man, Barnes & Noble's closing? But all the times I went in there and didn't buy anything. How did this happen? It's a fun store to look in, but I don't know, prices. I know book prices just don't really go down. And when you're in high school, $20, man, that was a lot,
It's a lot now.
Yeah, it is,
No,
but
I I get you.
Okay, so now back to Guardians. I'm trying to work back. So Guardians 1 was more of a surprise, than even people who were into Marvel was you're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy movie? That is a strange choice, And it surprised everyone. It was the hit of the summer, and it was at the end of the summer. It was in August. And maybe because of the surprise is why I liked it more. And then with 2, it was this is already established. It's not this great big surprise. But I came out of 1 remembering a whole lot of it. I come out of 2, I really can't tell you much besides, and there's going to be spoilers throughout this whole thing, by the way, for everything we talk about. Stranger Things, Thor. Yeah. Well, with Guardians, besides Ego, or whatever, is the Ego, right? I remember the scenes with the planet, and the whole thing about him and having to use his mother. And stuff like that, and it was a darker movie, I guess, but darker doesn't always mean better,
No. Okay.
So I'm just curious why you like 2 better than...
Well, I liked 1, don't get me wrong, it's just, I like 2 better because 2, just on a meta awareness, knew what it was more, because 1 introduced the plot. Who's this, Star-Lord guy, and where does he, whatever.
I will give you, 2 has a better villain than 1. 1 has a weak villain.
I know you told me that you hate 1's villain more than anyone else ever. I get that.
Yeah, it's up there. It's up there as one of the worst Marvel villains. Yeah. For sure.
Well, either way, all I know is that with 1, I liked being introduced to the characters, having that character development, which is still present. I mean, the whole premise of Guardians 2 was that, you find out how Star-Lord's mom and dad met, and then there was the calling back that the dad had to Star-Lord to say, hey, come, be my successor, have this weird power that I have with the planet, blah, 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 blah. And it turns twisted and all kinds of dark from there, and he has to set things right, blah, blah, blah. But that was really the only plot in 2. The plot of 1 was more, it branched out more because you got to know everyone on the team a lot more. Yeah. There's a lot of character development with all that.
Are you talking about 1 or 2, right?
I'm talking about 1.
Yeah,
you had all that character development. With 2,
it seems like you would enjoy it more if it had more character development.
I did in 1, and that's why I liked 1,
Mm-hmm.
but I liked 2 better because instead of trying to develop characters a bit more,
Mm-hmm.
it was mostly focusing on the slapstick humor and the comedy and all that stuff. I laughed so much in Guardians 2.
It was probably a funnier movie,
Yeah.
but as a movie, I didn't enjoy it as much. And, this is one of those weird things where I'm talking about story more than you are,
But like you said, you didn't really remember much from 2, right?
Yeah,
even though it's
I
most
laughed
recent.
during it.
Yeah.
Like, Mary Poppins is one of the best lines in that movie.
Yeah.
But, and, what's his name dies, but, Mantis, I didn't really care, I'm glad Gamora got more of a story, because I thought she was the most boring character in 1.
A lot of people who had read the comics, some of my friends were saying, yeah, they didn't like the way they did her in Guardians 1, but they liked how they made her more badass in 2. So.
Yeah, and she just, I don't know, she just seemed more interesting in this one. In 1 it was she felt very plain, and it was just she's there,
there.
she is just not the standout of this. And in this one, I still don't think she was the standout, but I think
But you got more of
she was
the
better,
relationship that she had with Star-Lord 2 in the second, I guess.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've been talking a lot about Guardians when we meant to talk about Thor.
Well, we have, instead of 3 topics,
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess we got a third one now.
Yeah.
Congrats.
We got our topics, this
Right.
Inception topic thing.
My point is, I guess that with Thor, I felt it suffered a bit from, what Guardians of the Galaxy almost did, which made the second one, which Guardians 2, like I just got done saying, for me felt more like it was entertainment based on comedy rather than story and lore and plot. With Thor, the original movie that we saw when it first came out, what was it, a year or 2 ago?
What, the first
The
Thor?
first Thor? How long ago was that?
God, that was 2009.
Was it?
Yeah, because it was the third or fourth in the series,
Oh my
in the
goodness.
Marvel. And there's been 12
That's
or something.
crazy.
Yeah, because the first Iron Man was 2008.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
and it was around the time
It was
after Iron Man.
It was, yeah. It might have been after Iron Man 2.
Yes,
I think,
that sounds right.
Because Iron Man 1 came out the same year as The Dark Knight, which was 2008. Because I remember it was what's the better superhero movie?
Yeah.
Probably Dark Knight,
But
I like Iron Man 1, but,
all I'm saying is that with Thor Ragnarok, the characters were extremely underdeveloped. You just kind of had... It tried to be about the plot, but it really wasn't, and the character development I was hoping to get, I really didn't. It was there, don't get me wrong, but I mean, take for instance, just a myriad of a cast of forgettable characters like the Rock guy, which I thought was the Thing at first. And I'm like, why are they mixing the universes? And he was blue. I'm like, oh okay, so he's whatever. And then he tried to introduce himself as Krong or something.
I don't remember.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the point. Is that
he was a minor character though.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying is they had so many minor characters that even the major characters seemed like minor. You had Thor, you had Loki, and then I guess the girl's name was Hela, I guess.
Yeah, she wasn't...
She was, they tried to set it up oh, she's the firstborn and the daughter of Thor. They don't show, there was no real flashback to when...
it was more
I was hoping, what's her untold story?
Yeah,
Why does she hate her father? And she just kind of says it, I hate her because he turned benevolent. And banished. I'm like, oh, that's... You're not going to, extrapolate on that a little bit? Or maybe give us a flashback? Or,
So here's the thing. Out of the 3 Thor movies, I think it's the best one. I think it's the best Thor movie because Thor 1, I guess it's kind of 2 fish out of water stories is what Thor has done.
Okay.
Okay, well here's the thing. Because 1 was Thor on Earth, right? And
right.
Did he have I guess he had some powers in the first movie, but I don't
know
if he
was
had
that when he
all
got
of
his hammer at first? Or?
Hey, honestly,
It's been that long.
Thor is the most forgettable series in the
Yes.
Marvel universe. Absolutely. I know you don't really like Ant-Man. But
No, but I remember Ant-Man more than I remember Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I kind of remember the first one. I know he fights that big robot at the end, and that's cool. I cannot tell you a single thing about the second Thor movie. Michael and I watched that, and we were just laughing at how bad it was. And for there's worse movies than Thor 2, but it was like Prince of Persia, where it's just forgettable, like average, forgettable, just like pop it in.
Even Prince of Persia had it.
I think Prince of Persia was actually. So I think Thor was below average, and I use Prince of Persia, if you don't know, as it is the most average movie of all time.
I think what we're saying here is that Thor 2 is somewhere between Assassin's Creed and Prince of Persia.
I haven't seen Assassin's Creed, but
there's a reason for that. Yeah.
So.
I like the scales we're using today. 0 to good, Assassin's Creed.
This is why I don't rate my games and my reviews, because I'm just like, oh yeah, that's good. it's like
10 out of 10.
Just slap a fish on your face out of 9. I don't know. That's more of like a pro Jared scale, but yeah. Okay, so Thor 1 was kind of a fish out of water story because it was him on Earth, right? Thor 2, couldn't tell you a single thing. Thor 3, or Thor Ragnarok, kind of a fish out of water story again because he loses his hammer, doesn't really have powers, he's in this different world and everything.
Me.
But, so what do you mean?
Well, okay, so he loses his hammer, right? So, oh, no, I can't fly anymore, I can't whatever. But at certain points, whenever he's pushed into a corner, he just conveniently gets his, thunder powers, and it's never explained, can he not use that all the time? Is it only when he thinks of his dad? What's going on with that?
Do you remember anything about 2? No. Okay, yeah, see, so I feel like maybe not remembering 2
you feel like maybe 2 had the reasoning for
one? Maybe, and I think with the whole him glowing and everything, it has to do with Odin dying, because that's what triggered it. Or
obviously, that's what
triggered
it. Yeah, but I mean,
I don't remember
I'm sorry.
And sorry to those Thor fans out there, and sorry we didn't rewatch them.
Obviously
I
we're
really
not hardcore Thor fans.
Yeah, and I don't really want to rewatch Thor 2.
There is nothing that makes me want to rewatch it.
No. The fact that it's the least memorable out of I love Marvel movies. Those are some of the only movies I go to theaters in, and I know that's people are oh come on man, you gotta support other movies, but it's Marvel movies are usually pretty consistently good.
We love our superheroes.
There hasn't been a bad one. Well, for the most part, I haven't seen 2008 Hulk, the one with Edward Norton, which is the one that is in the Marvel universe. But just Mark Ruffalo just conveniently replaced him. It's how Don Cheadle replaced the original War Machine.
Yeah.
I can't remember who was the original War Machine.
I don't know, but I know his face.
Yeah. But yeah, now with this movie, I think it had its comedic moments. There were some genuinely funny scenes. Probably the funniest scene is when Mark Ruffalo jumps out of the out of the.
I'll show you who I am.
But he's gonna transform because the Hulk inside of it.
After the fact, he's transforming, he's not actually dead because they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but they made a good joke out of it.
Yeah.
I was okay, that's some classic comedy right there.
And we had to wait through the whole movie for that though, because
he was Hulk the whole time.
No, but I mean that was towards the end of the movie, that scene you're talking about. But the comedic moments that stood out most to me were all based on the same. Again, it was slapstick humor, when Thor first gets electrocuted and he wakes up.
So they relied on that joke a bit too much.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially, he's the god of thunder. Why does a little electroshock disc in his neck even affect him?
Yeah. I don't know if he has, thunder running through him, but then when he has the blue thing, he's, got thunder coming out of his eyes.
It's convoluted. We don't have these answers, and there's no...
But we also are forgetting,
it's
the movies that set up. Right. We're forgetting the first 2 movies.
I don't think they have the answers.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's just because they're assuming that we will overlook or not look too deep into these things.
I guess, yeah, but
I'm just saying, when he gets electrocuted, the next scene it cuts to his face smushed up against the screen, and a couple of the people in the audience laughed, and I'm like, okay, well that's not really humorous to me, but I mean,
it's a funny face.
And another thing, just about Chris Hemsworth in general, I think he's a great actor, but this was almost more of a chick flick with how much they were trying to show him off
Oh,
with the haircut.
When Chris Hemsworth is in a movie, there will always be a shirtless scene.
Right.
And
I'm not taking away, like, I'm not like, oh, there's a shirtless scene? Well, there obviously, no, I'm not saying they're pandering because there was a shirtless scene. I'm just saying that he's the, and I get it, it's a Thor movie.
They did the same thing with Chris Pratt.
Right, exactly. And again, it's something I didn't really care for about Guardians, is like, okay, I get it, but I mean, let's see some action here, some whatever. And all the fight scenes, even though there were, I think maybe 2 or 3 really good ones in Thor Ragnarok. Because you had the one where he and Hulk duked it out. Mm-hmm. You had the one where
there was like the short one with
the very short one.
Hela.
Hela. I think it's just Hela. Like, bro, that's Hella Frosty. Or I don't even know. Again, we don't get much explanation, so how are we to know?
So I want to talk about like some of my least favorite stuff with this movie.
Go for it.
Which I guess we're already talking about, but when this movie started. Now, to be fair, Thor has an upwards battle with me because he is my least favorite. He's my least favorite Avenger. I just same with Hulk. I don't know why, but like it's hard. I guess I like ones you can potentially more relate to. It's hard to relate to a god or like a Jekyll and Hyde.
Not for me.
And it's hard to relate to like a Jekyll and Hyde type character, where it's like, when I get angry, I become this whole different person, like.
But at least that's something
the Hulk,
human, right?
Hulk is more interesting than Thor.
Yeah,
to me.
for sure.
And Hulk's super powerful, but he has his issues, and that's why
controlling it and stuff. Yeah.
Which it's interesting that Hulk had his own control in this movie because he was like sitting on the couch and everything, which is kind of weird to me.
He talked too much too.
Yeah. Which. That got a little weird for me. I was like, I wasn't expecting Hulk to be like chilling around, but I guess like when you have it for 2 years, when normally you're used to these bursts,
Hulk always angry.
You eventually just, but I would imagine you turn into Ruffalo again at some point, or Banner. Which I thought Ruffalo's acting wasn't that great in this movie.
Yeah, for some reason,
he just seemed out of it. Yeah,
and I get it. He was supposed to be
he's supposed to be different, but the delivery just didn't. He didn't seem
intelligent like he does in the other movies.
And once again, I know he was out of Bruce Banner for 2 years or whatever, but like I don't know. For some reason, the acting just seemed really stiff.
It was a step back.
Yeah, like I've seen Ruffalo do better, but. Yeah, to be fair, Bruce Banner was barely in this movie. It was mostly Hulk.
Yeah. And when he was this everyday human in a world with who knows what going on, and some alien planet with some interdimensional devil's anus. I mean, just again, it was that's the kind of humor they relied on. Was
Yeah, and they did call it the devil's anus, didn't they? Yeah. Yep. And I'm not against good humor. Like I like all the humor in the Guardians
but I'm just
movies,
saying,
but those movies are more my style. And more, like I said, I go into Thor and I'm like, this already isn't my favorite. Like I go into Spider-Man, I love Spider-Man. Like I'll get more references and stuff like that. There's probably Thor stuff that I didn't get, but my biggest problem, like. There was a whole beginning thing with the fire guy or whatever, and that's fine. But the Odin stuff just seemed super rushed to me. Yeah. Like
all of a sudden,
it was
by the way, Odin's gonna die now.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of there. They don't really say anything to him. They just kind of.
And I know it's one of those things where it expects you to have the weight from the first 2 movies. Right. Once again, I don't care. I don't. No. They're some of my least favorite.
They gave me zero reason to get attached to this character staying alive.
Yeah, and like. I wish there was just a little bit more. I know they kind of brought in Odin later to like kind of give you that point, and it was supposed to be like, oh, like Odin's gone. Mm-hmm. But I was just like, what? Yeah. And then Hela shows up, and she's like, oh, Odin's dead, and once again, weak villain. I didn't think she was great. She killed a lot of people, and like that was cool. Like she was definitely powerful, Like when some of these villains are more like just talk and like don't really do much.
I liked her pet wolf thing better than her.
She destroyed like a gigantic part of the population.
Well, but here's the thing. I don't get how like. Sorry, you're fine. First of all, okay, so Thor has this hammer, and I get it, it's one of a kind, because the metal came from, the dying star or whatever that it was born from, and that was Mjolnir, his hammer.
Oh, here, wait, hold on 1 second.
Is it not recording?
No, it starts to... Is it still going? Yeah, okay.
Right. Anyway.
By the way, when I do that, I'm probably not going to cut this out, like any of this stuff out. When I do that, the Mac is back there, and that's what's recording our audio, and I've had it stop on me in the past, so that's why I check it periodically, so.
Well, anyway, getting back to what I was saying was that, okay, so Thor loses his hammer, and I get it, it's a unique, one-of-a-kind hammer that you can't just pull a spare out of your pocket. Okay, fine, I get that. But this Hela girl, I guess she has the ability to pull knives of varying size and strength from somewhere. I mean, she's the goddess of death. I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's
the blade is the thing that kills. I don't know. So again,
like
these are plot holes.
That doesn't really bother me. Just I figured that's her power. You know how villains just have a certain power.
I get that was her power, but what I didn't get was how all the townspeople she just throw knives at with this dead accuracy, whatever, and just slaughter. But then when it came to Thor, why did again, most of the times before he lost his eye or whatever, he was stabbed and hit. You okay?
I might have to cut this. There's just something in my throat. I'm gonna
take care of what you need to take care of.
Yeah. So we were talking about Hela and creating spikes and death,
but
and all that.
The thing with the knives or blades, whatever, that got me was okay. So given her powers that she could just pull them out of her ass, right? Well. She strikes Thor with them a bunch of times, stabs him in the chest and in the ribs and in the back, and it doesn't seem to...
Is that when he was in the thunder mode?
No, this was before that as well.
So
when they're fighting in the castle, right? And I get he has armor on and stuff like that. But
Thor's more powerful than the other people of Asgard.
I get it. He's a god, right? And they're all citizens of this place. But still, all these other strikes did nothing to him, it seemed like. And then all of a sudden, she just kind of whoosh, and his eye was gone. And I get why they did it, but again, some of it, and I know...
Is he gonna have holes in his hands?
But that's what I'm saying, is I know I'm trying to make sense of a nonsensical universe, but the point is it still seemed awkward just watching it as someone in the audience. I'm like, wait, why does... You could stab him in the chest and he walks, shrugs it off, but you slice near his eye and the entire thing comes off and it looks all... I mean, it reminded me of Zuko from Avatar, the firebender guy.
Yeah. I don't know why he has that eye thing, though.
Well, I think it's because as a character, it showed now he's more kingly like his father and all that. Anyway, that's a little bit of character.
I watched all of Avatar, so,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You mean why Zuko has his stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, no, I know, Odin,
right.
The Odin-Thor
so I'm
parallels,
saying, Yeah, so I see why the Odin-Thor both had to have matching eye patches, I guess.
I don't know if that's part of the comics at all. Again, it might be.
We might just be poor Thor fans, so that's why we don't know this.
Well, you should be able to go to a comic book movie and not know the comics and still kind of understand what's going on.
And that's my complaint here is a lot of it to... someone who's an onlooker some of these things were very unexplained, and when I tried to fill in the plot holes myself, I felt like they weren't giving a full story. And I get, it's hard to, when you have this entire universe, to try to explain and tell a new story arc in just an hour and a half that you have in a movie, it's tough. But I feel like that's why making movies either in parts or stuff like that is really a good idea, especially when
So you think it should go a Hobbit strategy is what you're saying? Or...
Again, you and I, neither of us really like Thor that much to where we'd see a part 1 and part 2 and really care.
No.
But I'm just saying, the very first scene where you see him in the cage and he's like, so you're probably wondering how I got there. Well, I did this, that, and the other thing. And,
I mean, I get why it started there, but I was also like, why is Thor there?
Exactly.
But once again, the second movie... Don't remember exactly what happened.
Well, there's a difference between being in media res when you start a movie in the middle of the action versus...
Was Thor 2 before?
No, there was Thor 2 before, and then the Avengers thing.
Was it before Ultron?
Yes.
It was before Ultron.
Yes.
Okay, so the last time we saw Thor was in Ultron.
Yes.
Okay, I remember Ultron okay.
Right.
Because
that's what he says in the first scene is, he had
he went to that pool thing and then...
Yeah. And that's what he's trying to do is like synopsize what happened in the last movie. And I get that, but at the same time, just show us the footage and put a gray screen over it, like how some movies do to like show flashbacks or something.
Well, I know oftentimes like with movies people criticize that like when the movie just puts exposition out there, and like the movie should do its job of telling you without so I understand that, but I don't know, it's
again, from the get-go, this movie tried to, it's already in a convoluted plot between the Avengers going on, all the, characters of the 9 realms, and all that stuff. All this trying to mix harmoniously. And then on top of this, trying to tell a new story, all in the given time frame, it just gets so convoluted you can't tell where up and down is.
I mean, so, the problem with Thor has this job of being this fantastical thing, but somehow becoming part of this grounded universe.
On Earth and part of this Avengers team, but he's also a god who has a kingdom to take care of.
And I know they tried to explain it that it's more of a science type thing,
right.
Which, I get, but then, I don't know, man. Like, maybe if I rewatch the other Thor movies, I'll like it more, which, I liked it fine as a movie. It seems like you said, you're more the bad cop, I'm more the good cop, but it's really, we're kind of pretty close.
Well, we've both been bashing it this whole time. We've also been seeing some of its praises, but again, there just wasn't a whole lot to really capture us.
So, I thought, so another thing about me is, and if there's a fire truck going by, I guess, right now?
It's a police siren.
Police siren? Whatever. Either way, I don't think this will pick it up, but we
could probably edit this part.
We're gonna get killed. No, they found us. But no, what
something about you.
Yeah, the thing about Thor and movies like Thor, kinda, when it comes to like fantasy, when it comes to like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, stuff like that, that is not stuff that appeals to me. Like, that is never I am going to go to this.
You don't like Lord of the Rings?
I liked Lord of the Rings when I saw it. But it is never the thing I gravitate towards. I gravitate towards more of a sci-fi, futuristic, or modern setting. When you get swords and elves and all that stuff, that is never what I go for. Like medieval time stuff, medieval fantasy time stuff, which Thor has the most elements of out of the Marvel universe. You gotta say that,
right? But I mean, you want like Thor to be carrying around a ray gun?
No, I'm just saying. So I already personally have this bias where it's like that stuff's just not as
appealing to you.
Appealing to me, yeah. Okay. Like it's just not what I.
Fair enough.
So Thor already, he has that against him. He's too powerful. He has that against him. He's funny. Thor's funny. Like when he's with all the other Avengers, he's he's one of the funnier guys because he's like he kind of has a Drax thing going on where he's like kind of doesn't understand.
He's clever in the sense that he like has his wits about him the whole time. He's aware of the situation, but at the same time, they make his character to be very brutish. They parallel him to the Hulk, especially a lot in Ragnarok, where they're like, when Hulk's trying to fit, and he's like, oh, you got baby arms. They're fighting like children because they're just both brute, unstoppable forces, right? So, except Thor is, in my opinion, very stoppable. But the point is that, what the movie does right, aside from our personal biases, I feel like when they focus more on the comedy and try to kind of just let you figure out the lore on the side, but really just try to entertain you with comedy, that was the best part of the movie. I had some laughs, it was fine, but when they tried to make you focus and they force you to try to understand how the plot is going, I got so messed up. I'm like, who's this again? Why do we care about this person? What's going on in this kingdom here?
So you know who I really liked as a character?
Frostbite, or the guy who had the orange eyes or whatever.
What? Who was that?
You know the guy who, or the Bifrost, the little laser beam that teleports them? You know how there's a guy who sticks the sword in?
No, actually, wait, are you talking about Hela's assistant or whatever? That guy?
No. He was the guy.
Idris Elba, the guy who's like protecting all the people.
Yes.
Okay.
What's his name again?
No, Idris Elba is the actor.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it's Idris Elba. But
anyway.
So a couple things.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about this. Sorry. I didn't give a crap. I'm using my words. I didn't give a crap about the Hella's assistant guy. Was he in the other movies?
So he was not, I don't think.
Yeah, and like...
I kind of did give a crap about him, so explain to me why
no,
you didn't.
it was so rushed. It was like, I'll kill all these people then. Oh, you're like, happen to be here? Be my assistant. And he's suddenly like her right-hand man, and I know it's like, she just got in and she needs to pick someone, but it was just like, why? Why this guy? Like, he's just some dude, he's the janitor, I guess, Like, and I get it, it's to make this weaker guy in this position of power, and I get why they do that, but in the context of the story, it makes no sense.
So, the way I saw it, because you're absolutely right what you're saying, but the way I saw it was, first of all, the Idris Elba's character, whoever it was, he went
I know he's
off
normally
in the last
the guy.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he went off in the last movie?
I think they said in this movie, in Thor Ragnarok, the guy mentions, he deserted or betrayed or whatever, remember?
Okay.
And that's why he's like in a cloak and in a rag hiding.
No, I don't remember.
They said that in Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, okay.
So, it's alright.
I remember them saying, like,
yes.
and I guess I couldn't remember the Idris Elba character's name.
Because they had to remind us why he wasn't there. Again, the plot is so convoluted at this point. But what I liked about this executioner janitor character guy, which again, he wasn't that memorable if I don't remember his name. But the point is that I liked his character's kind of like motive, how he stayed true to the throne. He was like what do you call it? Like a fallen hero almost. Yeah. Because he started out. He just wanted to survive.
Right.
At first, he just started caring about himself and his own survival. That's why he went along when Alice came out.
I'm all fine with his motives and everything.
Right.
I just don't understand why he's in that position.
It was totally... If they had not included that little side story in this movie, it would have been just fine.
Yeah.
But they did... Like, that's probably the only side story or the only story they did in this movie that was actually, like, from end to beginning, had a, easily followable...
Yeah, but like the payoff wasn't worth it. Like I guess what he jumped out
at the end when he like redeemed himself.
What exactly did he do?
So
he jumped out of the plane. I remember that. No, he was. Remember, he was on the plane with all the people.
I remember. But what he did was he sacrificed himself because the undead army or whatever that Hela had raised was climbing aboard the ship.
Yeah, to save all the people.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I get the arc, but it's just like. Oh no, this guy that was, like...
Right, we had no reason to really care.
Like, oh no.
But the whole time...
He's just this dude.
Right, he's just this dude. But at the same time, is this dude really going to turn evil with Hela, or is he going to stay true?
It's obvious.
It was lingering in my mind when he... Like, I was wondering. Because he almost executed that old lady.
I guess.
He was only saved at the end.
That's just like, I have to survive, I gotta execute this person.
Well, that's what I was trying to say before, is at first it was just about him and his own survival, but then he realized, if he's gonna be an executioner, he actually has to kill his own people, and he was conflicted with that. So there's that like cognitive dissonance where he's like, do I do this or do I not? Am I a bad guy? Am I a good guy?
It just seemed too cookie cutter to me.
Oh, it was very.
It was just like, okay, like, this guy's gonna go, and then he's probably gonna have to redeem himself, he's gonna be with this person, and,
But to me, that was the only arc that made the most sense in the entire movie. It's not the most important, obviously. Again, they could have cut the whole thing, and it would have been just a fine movie, or just about a movie. The point is that, you're right, it felt a little rushed, and like, why do we need to care about this guy? Why is he even on screen? Why do we... I
didn't care.
No.
I didn't care about him. Now, one of the characters I do like is the Valkyrie girl. I thought she was more interesting. Like, now, I guess. Oh, right. The other Valkyrie sacrificed herself to save her,
which we saw in a flashback. So now we know where she comes
This is a flashback, not from another movie.
Yeah, but still, it's character development that these other characters don't.
But we are talking about two different types of flashbacks.
Right.
One where you can't just say it's a flashback.
But I'm still like, where was Hela's? They had one where like the paintings on the ceiling, remember, and it kind of showed.
And it speaks for itself. I mean, you see, not everything was like this. It was, times were worse.
But
it's very red, you know.
But it's very vague. Like you don't really get like okay, but. So how
don't get me wrong, I would like more of Hela's backstory.
Like, how was she caged? Where was she kept this whole time? Yeah. Was she in another dimension? Because she kind of just walked through
she just kind of showed up.
So...
Now...
Details, man.
Yeah, like, Hela, not the best villain, and, not much reason to care, but technically they explained a good portion saying she was the first, she helped make Asgard, but she... gets banished.
When she first came on screen and did her little head thing, I was about to shout, "Aku is back!"
Aku! I have returned!
Like, where's Samurai Jack when you need him? No, but yeah, other than that, you're right. She was completely just paper thin, forgettable character, but she had to be the main antagonist.
Now, one of the aspects that I thought was cool, I didn't expect, which I think when I was talking to Eric about the movie, he was like, I totally expected that. But the fire guy coming back at the end.
What fire guy?
The fire guy from the beginning. And causing Ragnarok.
Oh, they told, like, you knew that was going to happen because one,
I know Loki looked at the thing or whatever, but...
Well, okay, one, Thor had visions of it, right? He said that from the very beginning after he defeated this guy. And then two, hey... Didn't this fire guy mention I need the eternal flame to cause Ragnarok? And the eternal flame he kept it right next to the crown, like.
But I like that it was used to technically save the kingdom, like not just Ragnarok happened, like they had to use this villain from this very short part at the beginning of the movie,
best character,
just to take down Hela, and I thought that was a cool aspect, using one villain to take down another villain.
Yeah, that's always something that's, not so common these days, and that's awesome. I just, again, I think they used it as a cop-out way to try to tie up this convoluted story from beginning to end, which, okay, you're right, they did successfully. I should really stop harping on this movie, but at the same time, again, just like we've been saying, it felt a little rushed, or like, if they had not included that.
Now, the whole... Planet Hulk, well, I know it's called Planet Hulk in the comics, I guess, but the whole gladiator thing and all that, I more liked that setting.
I more like that planet than the actual kingdom of...
I never care about Asgard. Anytime Asgard shows up in like an Avengers movie or whatever, I guess it shows up at some points in the Avengers movies.
They just mention it,
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't care. One thing I'm glad they didn't do, I mean, they did a little... I never got the hype behind Loki as a villain. Some people say he's one of the best Marvel villains. Now, I know there's slim pickings on best Marvel villains. But I'm glad Loki didn't completely turn around and, cause the end. Now, I know there was the whole thing with, he was trying to trick Thor at the end.
He might have stolen the Tesseract, we don't know.
Yeah, and that's probably going to show up in Infinity War. Yeah. But I'm just glad it didn't become this Loki trying to gain power, become the focus of the movie.
I am glad that they focus on the brotherly love between Thor and Loki after their father had died, because that's a mutual trauma, and they showed how each one dealt with it, and one, Thor was always saying, when you thought that Loki was making fun of him and getting to him, Thor was like, I always really looked up to you, because, I thought you were number one in father's eyes, and Loki was like, oh, well, shit, how can I be mean when you say something like that,
Yeah.
And so he has his, again, redeeming moments, and he falls back to his evil ways.
And with Loki, I get that's part
his personality.
That's part of him.
That's how it's going to be. But
and then they did the shock joke again, and it was okay. Yeah.
But at least with Loki, he's not the god of thunder, so it makes sense that electricity works on him.
And it was funny that he, threw the thing across the room, and he was stuck like that for a long time. But, I was expecting Loki to not help out Thor. I don't know why he just suddenly was like, I'll help him out now. I'll help out Asgard. You expect Loki, after being stunned, to try and pull something, and he has all these people he recruits, and he could have used them to kind of...
Yeah, he could have still won the day, but...
Yeah, but he didn't, and, I guess that's a twist.
Well, I mean... Loki, again, is just one of those characters that, in this movie in particular, was just kind of there. Remember the scene where the Valkyrie girl's like, here, I have a peace offering for you. And it was Loki tied up.
Yeah.
Well, and he was there just so Thor can throw some cans at him to see if it was his illusion or not. That was all Loki was there as a character, was just to throw cans to see, oh, are you still there?
I mean, that like, in that scene, yes. But,
well, no, in that scene, literally, yes. But I mean, figuratively, as a character, Loki's just there to see, oh, are you still here? You know, like, to me, he didn't feel necessary, again.
Probably not necessary, but I was fine with him in this movie, and I'm happy it was not the same.
They didn't try too much with Loki in this movie. I think that's what we're both trying to
I'm tired of Loki. I'm tired of Thor. Loki, I'm tired of. Anyway. And then, the other thing is, I like Jeff Goldblum, he was Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
I kind of wish there was more of him, I wish there was more to him. He just kind of, did Jeff Goldblum things, but I get it, he's, just this guy who has all this power. He's kind of like the stereotypical, kind of like how Loki was with when he was Odin, just kind of sitting back and just enjoying everything.
Playing the act, playing the role,
Which I think in the comics he has some sort of relation to the Collector, which is the guy in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies who had Howard the Duck.
It would make sense,
So I think, they'll I don't think he dies at the end of the movie. I'm sure he somehow weasels out of it or whatever. But,
I mean, I don't really care if he does or not.
Yeah,
Again,
I'm fine
attached to.
I'm fine if Jeff Goldblum doesn't come back, but I enjoyed his presence,
Yeah.
So, Thor Ragnarok, it's not the worst Marvel movie. Right now, I'm gonna say middle of the road, but I would honestly have to look at all the movies, and it would probably move further down, just because there's a lot of good Marvel movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have much more to say. To me, it was still an entertaining movie.
Oh yeah,
and,
I got my money's worth.
And yeah, it did everything. I think it did everything it needed to do for Thor. I think it made it more interesting, but it's still just kind of.
I think
trying to shine a turd.
It's trying to polish a turd. Because it made it, to me, less interesting but more entertaining. And
less of its own thing and more.
Yeah, because they made an already convoluted storyline more convoluted, but they tried to do so in order to attach it to the Marvel or to the Avengers thing going on outside of these.
Now I know this is a different director than the first two Thor movies.
And is it?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
And I just like that he took the tone a different way with Thor.
A little bit, yeah.
Which, with the first two, the tone just was not interesting.
Because it was all about, self-discovery, who am I, where do I, again, the fish out of the water scheme.
I'm just talking about, visually and everything, even more. It felt more like a Guardians movie, it had that Guardians humor and everything.
A lot of colorful laser weapons everywhere and all these things going on.
That's more of the sci-fi stuff, and maybe that's why I get it, like it more. But... not the best Marvel movie, but it's okay. It's alright.
It's okay.
I think I said when I first got out of it, I thought it was great. I was it was good, or not amazing, but I was it's more than what I wanted. Or not more than what I wanted. More than what I normally get out of the Thor movies. I'll at least remember this movie. So it was good, It was.
I will say this is the most unnecessary of the Marvel superhero movies that I've seen so far.
Most unnecessary.
Yeah, if they had let this movie out and just made some nod, all they really.
I'm trying to think what happens in Iron Man 2.
I mean, there's more development of how Tony Stark got his
Oh yeah, he has all the hard stuff going on and stuff like that.
The arc reactor, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But the point is that with Thor Ragnarok, for a movie called Thor Ragnarok, I expected it more to be about Ragnarok, and the whole point behind Ragnarok was Thor realizing that home isn't a place, it's a people, and so when Ragnarok destroys his home, he can accept it. I get that, but otherwise, where was I was expecting fire and death and destruction and all this stuff.
Well, it happened, but it was
for
quick.
2 minutes. 1 minute at the beginning when he has this dream of it, and then another minute at the end.
Yeah.
That's it for the entire hour and a half that the movie is, or however long it was. So my chief complaint is just that it tried to do too much all at the same time, and if it had just focused on the parts that were good, like the humor, and not really tried to take itself too seriously, would have been an even better movie.
I mean, I did not. I guess when it took itself seriously, there were still like jokey moments in it, you know.
Yeah,
like,
I mean there has to be some, you know.
But I didn't think
asides.
this was an overly serious movie. I thought it was more of a jokey movie, you know.
No, it wasn't overly serious, but it tried to be serious when it really didn't have to be. Because, like I said, I feel like a lot. I mean,
there has to be some stuff at stake and everything like that when it comes to Marvel.
Right.
You know?
I'm just saying, a lot of it, I feel like this was unnecessary. If they just said, "Oh, by the way, Loki takes the Tesseract in something that." Some adventure that Thor has on the side, I would have been like, oh, okay, so that's where he comes in Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how he got possession of the Tesseract again.
Yeah.
That's all I need to say, because that's honestly all I got out of this movie.
Yeah, and what I'm going to say is, I mean, I guess I want to see where the people end up and everything, but other than that, like, I really don't need more Thor movies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's always going to be the worst to me. Like,
and they showed how Hulk gets back home, too, so...
Yeah, that was probably the most necessary plot to this movie, is getting Hulk back into the Avengers, you know, but... So, yeah, Hulk is the most important part of this.
Yes, Hulk is the most important part of Thor. Yeah. No, I think we both agree that this was not the best, but it also wasn't complete doo-doo, you know? Yeah. It was just kind of, like I said, a polished turd. Or
you know, it's a very standard Marvel movie.
Standard turd, yes. Yeah.
Very, which I can say more than Thor 2, because I can't remember that movie at all.
That was like a fart, if anything. Like a little...
Okay.
Are we going to transition?
Yeah, so we're going to get into our next topic. I'm going to check the camera just to see how much time we have.
Yeah.
So we're going back into Thor for just a moment. Just a part that I actually liked was, like, Loki's reaction to Thor and everything, you know, or not to Thor, Hulk and everything.
Smashing Thor, yeah.
And also just when he saw Hulk and he's like, I gotta leave this planet, you know, and everything
that was one of the comedic moments.
Yeah.
I more so liked when Thor was like, hey, I know this guy, we're co-workers.
So, a cool story behind that, I saw this on Facebook. It's one of those, like, you know, those now this things that always pop up.
Yeah.
But it's actually a pretty cool thing. Apparently, that line got in because of a kid from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Like, he went on the set and everything, and he said, like, oh, you should mention that, like, he's from work or something like that. And Chris Hemsworth and the writers loved it so much that that's how it got put in the movie. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a cool moment with Thor. Anyway, we've talked enough about Thor.
Funny how children are better directors than adults sometimes. Because they're not just after your cash, man.
Also, there's children who make much better YouTube channels than I do.
Like who? Do you know of anyone?
Actually, no.
I'm trying to give you a chance to self-promote here.
Do I know any children that are better than me? That's what I'm saying. Because I don't really watch children on YouTube.
Oh, the average 12-year-old who posts a Roblox or Minecraft video gets like 83,000 views in the first couple hours.
Oh, yeah. No.
Because who's watching YouTube?
Other children.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Damn kids, man.
No, that's fine. We're just old! No, there's much older people on YouTube that are just as successful.
Because they got onto YouTube right at the right time. We're trying to fit ourselves in at the end of YouTube's lifespan.
Yeah. We're not doing... But, you know, I say these things, but also at the same time, like, YouTube back in the day, you couldn't get paid to do YouTube and stuff like that, you know?
But now that you can, it's a little too late.
Yeah, you know, it's more competitive and everything. But, I don't know. Let's not get into that. That's just a whole other can of worms. But yeah, so now we're going to talk about Stranger Things. Now the thing is, with Thor, that was our first conversation about the movie. We were like, we'll talk about it on the podcast.
There's no pre-arranged talking we did.
We have talked about Stranger Things 2 before, off the cast, but I think now, that was like right after it came out and everything, and now it's been sitting with us and everything.
Yeah.
So my main question is, season 2 or season 1? Like,
which is better?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, better in what sense?
This is the which one's better.
Like, which one's better overall?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I liked about season 1 was just how deeply attached you can get to these kids.
Yeah.
How the parent role models, like in The Simpsons or in South Park, were really not such good role models.
Yeah. Well, mainly Mike's parents, but...
Well, almost everyone in the town, and part of it was just because it's set in like the 80s where, you know, parents trusted that their kids were at their friend's house or they were able to be out in the streets past dark, all that stuff.
In the 80s, I feel like that started to get more, I feel like that's more of a 60s, 70s thing. Like in the 80s, I guess it was still a thing, but I don't think it was...
I guess it depended on where you live.
Yeah.
But
it is early 80s. Like.
Yeah. But either way, the whole point of most of the parents, the majority of the parents, not really giving a crap about their kids, again, struck me as noteworthy. But it was a good thing because it showed that they weren't focused really on the relationships between parent and child. It's between these kids discovering this crazy thing or conspiracy that the whole rest of the town was blind to. So that was really cool because there was like a murder mystery. Who done it? Who took Will? And a couple glances we got at these supernatural beings that we learned later on were called demogorgons or whatever. You know, that was really cool because it added that sci-fi element to it, which both of us seem to really love. So season 1 was great for setting the exposition and the main first couple plot points. Season 2, I've heard mixed reviews. Some people said it outdid itself. Other people say it was underwhelming, which I think that I agree with the former side where it outdid itself because for me, season 2, it didn't lose what it had started out with in season 1. I can't quite put my finger on exactly what it is, but I think they just kept the characters consistent. I think that they kept the plot points still interesting, and they just furthered the story. And that's really all they tried to do was just further the story. They weren't trying to, you know, make all these other, you know,
add in all this other stuff. There's elements of adding in other stuff, which we'll get to.
That's naturally comes with plot progression. Especially like what's the blonde-haired guy with Mad Max's brother? You know, what's his name?
Oh, Billy.
Billy, yeah. When Billy comes in, I'm like, oh, of course they had to add a new character here to show.
And Steve's, you know, not a bully really anymore. He's not the anti-hero, I guess, that he was in the first season as much, which, you know, he redeems himself by the end. But
so to answer your question, I think I enjoyed them very evenly, but if I had to pick one over the other, I'd say season 2 was better for me simply on fact that because compared to all these other shows and movies and whatever, even video games that have been coming out in recent years, trying to go for too much, season 2 stuck to its roots and just stayed consistent, and I applaud it for that.
So with season 1, when season 1 first came out, I loved season 1, and I still love season 1.
I had to rewatch it all before I let myself watch season 2.
Which I kind of, and maybe I'm just grabbing someone else's opinion on this, but Chris Stuckman, he puts it pretty well. Season 1 borrowed a lot from 80s movies. Like, there's almost too much E.T.
It was almost cheesy.
Like, you know, there was a lot of E.T. references, a lot of...
The posters of the thing.
The honest trailers, you know, brought it up as well. But, you know, I had watched that after season 2 came out. But basically, I love season 1, and I love how it felt like a Spielberg film. Like, 'cause it felt like that classic 80s...
that sense of wonderment,
Stranger Things season 1 gave me a feeling that I don't get from movies anymore. You know, I got that.
It doesn't bring you back to
childhood. It got that whimsy and everything. You know, which is like why the 80s movies. It's always been, you know, what struck with me, and maybe that's why season 1 I liked so much. But with season 2, what I like so much about season 2 is it didn't try and do more of that. It tried to do its own thing. And that's what I really like about season 2. And the main thing with season 2 is people say like it's slow at the beginning. But if you're into character development, it holds up, you know? Like I'm not someone who needs the action in every episode. It's like, oh, like what is this gonna lead to and stuff like that. So
versus the most action-packed episode, number 7, where they're in...
that is not the most action-packed episode. The most action-packed episode's 8.
Which was...
The one where they're in in Hawkins' lab.
Oh, I thought. Well, I mean, they rob a bank or whatever.
Yeah,
right? And there's shooting going on. Isn't there in number 7? Like.
Yeah, I guess, but it wasn't action that was relevant to the plot.
But that's exactly my point. Is the scene or the episode with some of the most action was also probably worse.
Yeah. No, I mean, season 2, episode 7 is the worst of the series.
Yeah.
Hands down. Like.
Don't just say
It's hands floating. No. But I said that was a big bump. It just caused. Anyway,
Darren, you can't follow your own rules, man.
I was born to follow rules. Yeah, I follow so many rules, but
back on track.
I don't speed.
So you're saying some people thought it was slow, and you're like, no, that's okay.
So, think about like Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Breaking Bad. It's all about building and then paying off.
Yeah.
And that's what season 2 did. It builds and builds and builds, and then it pays off. But it's about to pay off, and then season 2, episode 7 happens, and then it pays off. You know, like 8 and 9 just wrapped up the season so well.
Right.
Where I'm just like, oh, like that was great. And the thing with season 1 is very more self-contained. Because in the sense that, besides a little cliffhanger of Will coughing up the slug, like if they didn't get renewed, season 1 would have still just been a great package.
Because no strings were loose, hanging still.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Like, you know, Hopper went off with those guys and everything,
and we don't really know what they talked about.
Yeah, but like as a season, you could look at that and just be like if that was the only thing Stranger Things released, it would be like it was still a good wrap. There's not too much going on. It didn't depend too much on it, and that's because they had no idea if this was going to be successful. And thankfully it was. I love this series.
Yeah.
Like I now have like Stranger Things stuff up in the house and everything.
It'll be your room right now.
Yeah, that's right. But oh man, I don't know. Just season. Oh, there was something I was going to say, but. Anyway, do you have any points you want to bring up?
I just wanted to have each of us go over who we thought was our favorite character and least favorite character.
Okay, least favorite's really easy. Any of the goons from season 7, episode 2, like.
Okay, that's a good point.
Maybe not the big guy, but probably the Mohawk guy. Probably my least favorite.
Yeah.
Underrated character, Benny.
Which was who again?
The guy who, from the very first episode, who gets shot. The one who finds Eleven.
Yeah!
I really wish he was in the series more. I was getting attached to him, and then I was like, I got more attached to him than Odin.
Yeah. Well, that's not hard to do.
But,
yeah, no, Benny. I mean, that's,
I know that's derailing, but I think Benny needs to get his due. What about Benny? Justice for Benny. What was I gonna say?
Benny and the Jets.
But yeah, I know with season 2, people have trouble with it moving too slow, and
I never thought that once.
Yeah, I didn't either, but then
suspenseful motion, even if it was slow.
And sorry, so talking about favorite characters.
Yeah.
I'm just scatterbrained right now.
That's fine.
So I know your favorite character. You've already told me
Don't
before.
spoil it. Just
okay.
Go ahead.
My favorite character. It used to be Dustin, but season 2 made me not like Dustin as much because he was selfish. Which makes him more of a character.
But I say otherwise, he had no real character flaws until then.
Yeah. Nancy, but that's just because.
Huh? What about?
No, I was saying Nancy's my favorite, but that's just because Natalia Dyer is beautiful. Anyway,
True
no,
facts.
what was I gonna say?
So your favorite character was Dustin, but why didn't he become your favorite?
Because he kept Dart, and it was just like, Dustin, come on, man, we went through this season 1. Anything that looks like it could be from the Upside Down, do not keep and hide from the rest of the group. And tell Hopper about it.
What I liked about Dart, though, the whole, what do they call him? Not a tadpole, a polywog?
Polywog,
yeah. God, between Pokemon's Poliwhirl and actual tadpoles that you learned about in kindergarten.
Polypole.
Yeah, whatever. Point is, that what I thought was interesting about Dart and bringing that back was, Will's vision. When he talks about, I heard a bunch of these things chirping around the big black shadow monster, right? Well, so I thought they were going to play more of an important role. They did, I guess, but not the Polywogs themselves, but the Demo dogs. So I just thought it was interesting how they brought back a similar, Demo whatever character, because in the first season, you only had, because there was only, as far as we could tell, one Demogorgon in the first season. And there was the scene where Will and Joyce is Will's mom, right?
Yeah.
I just forgot her name.
Winona Ryder?
Yeah. So Joyce and Hopper were looking for Will in one of the last episodes of The Upside Down.
You're talking about, in the
season
Upside Down.
1. Yeah. And they show a scene where, as Winona Ryder's character goes off ahead, Hopper comes across what looks like an egg from the Alien series. I thought that was kind of cool.
Season 2, apparently a lot of the references to 80s movies, or more 80s movies maybe I haven't seen, because I haven't seen any of the Aliens movies, and I know that's a crime.
It is. I have all of them. You were watching them at some point.
Yeah. Maybe over Christmas.
Alright.
Yeah.
It'd be a terrible thing to watch over Christmas, but okay.
We'll watch Die Hard. You've seen Die Hard, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm related. Anyway, so yeah, that maybe when people say like, it does reference 80s movies, but I don't think it.
Sometimes
I don't think it relied as much on the references.
But I just thought it was cool how they showed this origin of this character that we really don't have a whole lot that's known about. We just know it's from this dimension called the Upside Down that's parallel somehow to ours, and whether it came from that one egg. Okay, if it came from that one egg, who laid the egg? Yeah. And then if it was just, say it didn't come from that egg, well then, was there a brother or a sister or something, or did something else come from that egg?
So are you saying Dart came from that egg? Because
I don't know, and that's the intrigue that I love.
The thing with Dart, I think Dart is the little slug from the end of season 1.
You think the slugs turn into darts and the darts turn into demodogs?
Yeah, like, the thing that Will coughed up at the end of season 1. Because, he came back, he just seemed like a slug with legs, That's where I think where Dart came from. I don't know how multiple of them happen. I don't know if he's like a gremlin.
Well, if they come from slugs,
multiply.
We saw slugs coming out of the mouths of everyone who either died or whatever. So all the bodies that you saw, because there were skeletons in season 1 before they found Will and other bodies hanging out.
I guess there was. Yeah,
so maybe when these bacteria or whatever slug things take flesh from a host, they turn into.
I think that is how they come about. Like that's why the slug, because there's that like hose in his mouth, but which I think is something akin to Alien, right? Where it comes out of the host. I know, except it jumps out of the stomach.
But again, these are just theories that we're coming up with. We don't really know the whole.
Yeah.
But it is neat to think about.
And then going back to the characters, though.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about this, and you didn't really find him as interesting this season, and he wasn't as interesting this season. But Mike. I like Mike. Gotta be like Mike. But what I like about Mike is, compared to the other kids, like, he was so on top of everything.
He was down to earth. He was reasonable.
Well, what I mean is, like, when anything suspicious started happening, he related it to the Upside Down. It's the first thing he did. Like, he's like, Will's the spy.
He's very aware.
Right. When the other kids, Dustin having one of my least favorite qualities of this season.
Yep.
That's where I think Mike was just on top of everything. And, the whole moment with 11 and everything, and at the dance, it was like, Mike gets his big payoff, and I know you were saying, like, Mike was more of like an emo kid,
At the first couple episodes. I mean, when he started to get the cookie crumbs of realizing that 11 might be alive still, or maybe he just hopes that she is hearing his messages when he calls every night, that kind of stuff. I think it kind of rekindles that adventurous spirit that he had in the first season of, hey, let's go out and figure out what's going on in our town kind of thing. And instead of, he kind of lost that luster for life at the first episode or two when he's lamenting more than anything else.
Which, it's been a year, but still.
Right, but at the same time, that's where we get picked back up chronologically when we start season 2.
So, I know they didn't want it to be like, yeah, Mike completely forgot about 11, you know.
I did not expect that.
It's the whole lamenting about 11 that makes the payoff so, you know.
Right. Because he hadn't given up, but at the same time, he was so sad that she was gone, and you can tell.
And that was his love, you know, his 14-year-old love.
Right, and when Max came to the town, part of me, before I knew what was going to happen, was like, oh, is she going to be one of the numbers, like 11 was, or like, what 8 or whatever? And I thought maybe he's going to fall in love with this Max girl, but when they showed the scene with the skateboard, and 11 pulled her off,
you know, it was more just 11 catching him right at the wrong time.
Right. Oh, yeah, which I thought was awesome how
they
they directed that. But the point is just that when Mike saw, and she's like, oh, I felt like a magnet ripped me off my board. And he's like, and he looked, and he's like, and that's when I knew, like, okay, there's no other girl for Mike. It's always going to be 11. Unless maybe that's the whole point of season 3 is Mike has a whole love debacle, which I would be kind of disappointed if they do that, honestly.
That seems like a stereotypical, like, let's just add drama to the situation thing.
Could you imagine having a crazy ex-girlfriend who can bend things with their mind? Like, that's...
Yeah, no, Mike.
No, he would be dead.
But, unless 11 dumps you, then don't mess with her. You'll get destroyed. But the other thing is sorry, just more coughs. Oh man, there was something I was gonna say about the one thing I didn't like about season 2 as much, the whole Billy Max thing. It seemed like there was gonna be more mystery behind it, and it was just like, oh, their step parents are abusive.
Well, I'm glad we finally got the backstory at some point.
But it just seemed like there was more to it. Like, why are these like 2 kids coming from California? Like, are they escaping something? You know?
Is there another lab in California?
Coming in? But no, there was like no. It was just, hey, we needed a girl character, so we added her in, and we needed another bully, so it's a brother. You know, Max, and I'd say the best thing about Max, and you know, kind of sucks to say about a character, but it created a conflict between Lucas and Dustin. You know, conflict of interest.
Well, good, because, you know, you had to get
her as a character, I mean, she's cool, she rides skateboards.
No, I get what you're saying, that's all we get about Max.
And, you know, she has a redemption moment against her brother, but, like, she definitely, and I think she has against her that she started this season compared to these characters, because when you think of the characters from the first season, like, you think of them kind of individually, but you more think of them as like the group of kids. You know, so this season kind of diversified.
But I like how she tries to join their clan, or whatever they call it, and they
kind of wanted her.
Well, some wanted her, some didn't. Especially Mike was like, "No, you're never going to be one of us."
Which again, Mike was on top of it. Like, you don't let people know we signed agreements with.
Well, even I mean, all of them didn't want her to be, when she's like, so you want me to believe that some secret agency is over, and he's like, keep your voice down. And when she realized that this was real,
but he still told her. Right. Mike was the one.
Mike would never have done that.
Yeah,
but that was mostly because he was still like, no, you're never going to replace 11.
Right, but still at the same time, there's that whole thing going on in the background as well. But at the same time, I kind of liked the Nancy Jonathan thing, where they did tell Murray the sleaze bag, weird guy.
But Murray would keep it under wraps. Whereas at the beginning episode, when he's
it wasn't just this random girl. There was a reason to tell Murray.
So I feel like Murray's going to be back in the next season at some point.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, there's a small chance of it, because if they had, again, like you said, they're really good at just keeping everything bundled up. If they just ended his story with how it ended this season,
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I'd be fine with it too. But if they brought him back, it would make sense, because there are other numbers and there are other things.
It's probably just going to get bigger.
And this guy is in on it already. So,
So, the conflict I've been seeing the most with season 2 is season 1. I didn't really like Steve Harrington, kind of a dick. He, wrote Nancy's whore on the theater and all that. For those trying to remember,
you just remember by the hair, honestly.
Yeah, but so season 1, I'm like, no, Nancy should be with Jonathan, but now she's with Jonathan, and it was like, Jonathan didn't really develop much this season, besides getting in a relationship with Nancy.
No, I thought he developed a lot.
Really?
I mean,
like what else? I'm trying to think of like big Jonathan Nancy moments. Besides,
but his whole character is dependent on the fact that Will is his brother, and he's so concerned because he has to manage Joyce, who's just like that close from going completely psychotic during season 1, and kind of does sometimes, you know. Like he has to bury his brother when Joyce is like, no, we're not. That's not my. You know, he's trying to step in and be the adult, the father figure for this family that's crumbling. You know, and so he has to be a man as this kid, as this high school teenager, or whatever. But at the same time, he has to be a brother to this brother that's gone missing.
Wait. So are we talking about No, he developed throughout season 1.
Right. But I'm saying in season 2, some of those roles are taken away because Joyce now is like happy and content for the most part. She's not as crazy. She has Bob, so there's this father figure that kind of takes the place that both Will and he kind of grow attached to, you know? So some of his roles are taken away, which allows him to develop more as who he has always been. The guy who, like they say when Nance invites him to the Halloween party, oh, you're gonna go home and you're gonna, you know, listen to music and read Kurt Vonnegut, and he's like, yeah, because that's the kind of guy I am. Like, that's who he is. He's the shy wallflower, whatever. Okay. And so that's what I liked about season 2 is they showed he went
to the party and everything.
Like he didn't have to be the man of the house now. He just can be a high school teenager again.
Yeah, but it made him less complex now. You know, like
less complex, but more developed, in my opinion.
I guess. Like, I mean, as you go through a season, someone's going to be more developed. I'm just thinking.
Right, he didn't steal as much of the spotlight, obviously.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, there wasn't much to Jonathan and Nancy this season besides talking about the tapes, getting Jonathan and Nancy together, and then the end scenes.
That was kind of it, yeah.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there wasn't as much of a focus as last season.
I will say, though, compared to how in season 1 when we're like, oh, is she going to be with Jonathan or with Steve? I like how, 1, we get a finality to it, but 2, how Steve becomes kind of a kid. Like, he's better off when you're not trying to take him seriously, when he's just, you know, the whole time he's with Dustin and they're walking along the railroad tracks, they're having that chat.
So I like him better when he wants to be with Nancy now, you know, but then it's like, well, like,
I like Babysitter Steve
better
than
that's what I'm saying.
Steve.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay. So, you know, but now his whole thing is like, he still wants to be with Nancy, you know, and...
do you really think so? Because I think he's kind of like,
just look at the prom scene, and when he sees Nancy through the door, and he's like, you know, and drives off. I think he was like, man, like, there's Nancy, and then like...
Obviously he still has feelings for her, but I think let's just say love, but let's just say because he loves her, he wants her to be happy, and if he sees that she's happy with Jonathan instead, even though he likes her still, he's gonna let that be and not intervene because he's matured a little bit now.
Maybe.
That's what I like to think.
I don't know, like, I mean,
obviously he still wants to be with her, but
I'm trying to remember if he knew she was hanging out with Jonathan when he came with the flowers and everything.
No, he did not.
No, they definitely did because, he knew that they were hanging out again.
Right, but they didn't know they were romantically being together.
I guess, but he kind of always knew that Nancy had a thing for Jonathan ever since the end of season 1, you know, because when the guy in the locker room told him, like, she went off with weirdo boy, you know, or whatever. Or the freak's brother, you know.
Yeah. Which I like, just kind of going off topic for a minute, how at the end, you know, at the beginning, this whole zombie boy thing was kind of what haunted him and what marred him as a pariah in the town. And then at the end, this girl's like, hey, zombie boy, come dance. And you're like, oh, yeah. Like,
which, let's talk about Will. Poor Will. Just that poor kid.
Tortured soul.
And I just think after this season, let Will just be a normal kid. Like, let Will...
He can never be a normal kid.
Let Will become more like Jonathan, where he doesn't have all this stuff over him and he kind of becomes just more a member of the group.
But he's not, I mean, after all that he's been through and how, like, wise of a character he is, he's no longer just an innocent child.
No, he's not going to be innocent.
Right.
But I don't think the story needs to be so Will focused. Like, because the whole plot of season 1 was finding Will.
Right.
The whole plot of season 2
was
Will's possessed and curing him. Will does not need to have any more connections with the Upside Down. He can help stop the Upside Down, But Will being like a focal point for what's happening, I don't need to see anymore.
I see what you're saying, but also, how can he not be the focal point anymore? Because as much as that's why he kind of has to be, because of course we all want him to just, like, upside down, leave this kid alone, he's been through enough, that's what everyone's feeling. But that's exactly what makes his character so, like, able to be reached, because we feel for this kid, we want everyone to leave him alone, but everything between his family and these upside down interdimensional creatures keep...
Well, the only thing we care about Will is his connection to the Upside Down. I want to know more of who Will is as a person.
Oh, well, we know who he is. He's smart, he's
he draws stuff.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's a regular kid until season 1 plot things start happening where he gets connected to the Upside Down.
But I'm just...
Other than the Upside Down, Will's just a regular kid. There's not much else to know about him other than he's just smarter.
Well, let's see him develop. Let's see what happens, See how he relates with the other kids, not when he's possessed.
Season 3, Will starts doing drugs.
I don't...
Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But let's see more how he relates to the group without having this looming thing of the Upside Down. Let's see how they all take on the Upside Down together, not just, we have to find Will, we have to cure Will.
Right.
Let's not have Upside Down Will connection. And the fact that the thing flew out of his mouth, if there's another thing where it's like, Will's in trouble! We gotta help Will! If that happens again, it's gonna be like, you're doing the same thing for, like, the 3rd time. So...
I see your point.
So, like, I want to see Will not be this tortured soul. Like, he's still gonna be tortured because of the events that happened to him in the past.
Do you think...
But he does not have to be the ongoing torture that happens.
Do you think with all the stuff that the Upside Down has done to affect the town, that now, going forward, the whole town will be somehow aware of this? Because if not Will being the focal point, then who for the next season,
So...
Who's your pick?
It's not...
Because the Upside Down has to antagonize someone, right? And the only one
not the whole town needs to be aware, because the whole town got covered up with the whole gas thing.
Right.
But the whole group, the whole group together, is going to be aware that, hey, the Upside Down, it's going to keep trying to get in here. Like, I'm hoping everyone's more aware like Mike is. And honestly, what's probably going to happen is it's going to expand past Hawkins because of the other numbers. And that's fine. But mainly, I think Season 3 is going to be more like Upside Down versus everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think it's going to be not just this group of kids who are the only ones who know about this thing?
I think the scope is going to get bigger. But I don't think... maybe like...
National?
Maybe even like, just like the Midwest. Like... It's just gonna start to grow. I think like season... You don't go global season 3. You do that like season 4. Which... There's gonna be a scene... I can already... This is what I expect. We have 1 through 11. We know 2 of the numbers. 8 and 11. Eventually, 11's not gonna be able to close things by herself. It's gonna be a big thing where they have all the numbers, and that's... they're fighting off this thing that basically happened due to Hawkins' lab and everything. They're going to be the things that take down. Yeah, honestly, that's probably what it's mostly going to be like. Which scares me, because Season 2, Episode 7 is the worst of the series.
I think they realize that, though.
Yeah, and I just hope, like, Callie out of that group was the most, like, interesting.
And even
but she wasn't that interesting. So I hope if they bring other numbers into play, and I hope like Callie's one of those characters who's not too present in the series, and like maybe towards the end of the series, she redeems herself, doesn't do this killing thing, and more wants to help out everyone.
Well, again, I love how one of the motifs is how multiple people deal with a shared trauma. So you have these children who were who knows how they got there. So maybe like 11, she was, abducted, or maybe whatever. Say they were all abducted, right? And they were all put through this program and training and made to, focus their powers and all this stuff, given these drugs or done to do these immoral, unethical experiments. How did each one deal with them? Well, just like 11 is different from Callie, it's going to be interesting for sure to see how the other numbers are personality-wise, because Callie grew up in a different place, and maybe these other numbers are like I said, scattered. Could be just over the Midwest, or that's why I'm thinking from all over the world. They just came to Hawkins because that's where they were doing the main research, I guess.
My guess is, well, I don't think all the numbers will come into play season 3. I think they're all going to come into play season 4. And some of them are probably dead. Like some of them were probably failed test experiments and died.
Or they got rid of them with this stuff.
Yeah. Just constantly bringing it back.
You're gonna have to show that clip from Ratatouille. Find it somewhere just every time.
Yeah, I might, or at least find a screen cap. Yeah. What was I gonna say?
The other numbers, some of them are dead.
Gather your thoughts, because I need to pee.
Alright.
Do you remember where we were?
You said gather your thoughts, I gotta go pee.
No, before that.
We were just talking about the other numbers and what our predictions were for the next season or two.
We were saying that maybe some of them are dead, things like that. Which I hope that's what we were saying, because if not...
It is.
Sorry, just had to quickly use the bathroom. Anyway, I think season 4 is when we'll finally get all the numbers in play, but I think season 3 will expand on the numbers, and that's the ice machine.
I know.
Yeah, I know, but also saying it for them.
Right, I don't think they would have heard it, though. Never mind.
You don't think they'll hear it?
It's alright.
Either way, I think that's the direction they'll go, and maybe they'll surprise me, but it only makes sense at this point if you're going to bring in one. Might as well start building and bring in more. And
was there a mission 0, or is it start at 1?
Yeah.
Does it make a difference?
And
sometimes I just like things like that.
The one thing, let's talk about Dr. Brenner.
Okay.
Because basically,
good doctor, Wait, you're talking about...
I'm talking about the one from the first season.
Sorry, I thought the one from this season was called Dr. Brenner.
No, that's, I can't think of this doctor's name, but Dr. Brenner is the Matthew
father
of
11, we think.
Yeah. No, I think he pretty much is.
Yeah.
But basically, what I'm wondering is, the Callie thing, that was her putting him in Eleven's mind and everything.
Right, the illusion.
Yeah, but the guy, the one who, they were gonna shoot, remember? But then 11 threw the gun out the window and everything in season 2, episode 7.
Yeah.
Because remember, he was like, I can tell you where he is, and everything like that. And, I don't know when he left Hawkins' lab, and he thinks he knows where he is, or if he's still out there.
That's what I'm saying. I thought we had a scene in season 1 at the end where he got eaten.
Yeah, but now it's like, is there some sort of mystery going on there?
Yeah.
But I think he's dead, but, they might try and do more with it, because just to say
the organization's still there, so
yeah.
even if he was high on the totem pole, he obviously wasn't the highest, because otherwise the organization would crumble apart.
And basically, I think there's going to be more labs, or maybe... I'm trying to figure out where another hole would open up, where the Upside Down could escape in, and I feel like it might be part of a bigger organization, that lab and everything. And
like Team Rocket.
Like Team Rocket, yeah. And it's like, the whole thing is like this for the CIA, isn't it? It's the so the CIA might be aware of what was going on, and they.
I was about to say these kids and this, and the couple of people in the lab they deal with can't be the only ones who are in on this parallel universe.
Yeah,
so it makes sense.
Why does the Upside Down exist?
That'll be a fun. Or is it
be
naturally occurring? Which came first? Our universe or theirs? All that stuff.
There's a funny tweet I saw online from. Oh, by the way, so who's your favorite character?
Well, go on and say your thing first.
Well, it's about your favorite character.
It's Jim Hopper.
Yeah, Hopper's the man.
Yeah.
Which, I was kind of saying that because we were talking about the adults in the town and everything like that. So Hopper and Joyce, they're
exceptions.
Yeah.
Hopper doesn't have any kids. Well, he did.
Yeah.
But,
and then Joyce does. But it's Will. So. But also, my favorite character is Ted. Mike's Ted.
Obviously. Language.
Hey, language. Hold on one more moment. Alright, so yeah. Ted's my favorite.
So what was this funny tweet you were talking about?
Oh, so David Harbour, which is Hopper. They asked me to replace Hopper. So someone tweeted like, when Nancy goes through the portal in season 1, like, or basically talking about how at the end of season 2, when the world flips and then there's the upside down thing, which is probably more of an imagery thing than anything, you know, just like to show that the upside down's still there, you know. But they're like, when she went through the portal, like, how did gravity work and everything? Like, what like, you know,
they're saying that she would have flipped upside down.
Yeah, like she came through and like, but she didn't flip upside down.
That's semantics.
That's, you know, and then Hopper was like, or David Harbour was like, I was told there would be no math. You know? but no, which I actually drew like a picture in my room and I was gonna like
just trying to figure it out.
No, because I was gonna send it to him and be like, this is how it works. But
you should have used a plate and then fold it in half and punch a hole through it.
No, but basically, you know, as you're walking through the portal, I think you are stepping into the upside down. Like, there's no like
applying the
like gravity's gonna like, yeah, you're just gonna walk through. But once you walk through, hey, you're upside down, you know. But either way, so.
All right.
But the other thing is, so 11 this season.
Okay.
I thought 11 might have had a little bit more charm in season 1, maybe. Just because like there's more mystery to her, and I like that we're getting more of 11. But she didn't like steal the show like I feel like she probably did season 1.
Oh, the most memorable moment from this season was the Clash of Titans. 11 and Hopper in the house having a fight.
That's true.
So
yeah.
I think, okay, I'll give you that the charm of an innocent child being experimented on is kind of gone. She's kind of accepted who she is now, right? Mm. She's aware of herself and what her background is, who her mom is, who her dad was.
Which I'm glad we got into the mom stuff. I don't think we need to see that ever again. Like, I think that plot line is done.
If she sits in that chair being tortured for the rest of the
time.
That's
unless they find some way to fix her, but that's the only reason they should ever.
Then what does she do? You know?
Yeah, that's the only reason they should ever get back.
But no, all I'm saying is that she definitely lost some of the innocent childhood charm, like you mentioned from season 1.
Well, she lost like the E.T. part to her, you know.
Okay. Because these stranger things have become more commonplace now in season 2. I get that. But what I'm saying is that I think she's become just, like I said before, more of a titan. She still has that discipline, maturity, self-awareness, and badassery.
Yeah.
But that's why she's such a good parallel to Hopper, or rather a foil, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say I don't like 11, but you know, I guess, even though, you know, I'm criticizing it for the next season, I think Will stole the show this season. Like, just that, I mean, that kid was such a good actor and everything.
Oh, they're all great actors, yeah.
The way he's freaking out at the end of, I think episode 5, when he's doing the shaking and everything, and then, like, just when he's tied up, he was really good at being able to, like, be put in these situations and act like he's possessed, you know? But also, you know, 11 gets knocked down a couple picks because she's in season 2, episode 7. But that is she's the best part of that episode.
Well, it's about her sister, or
I know,
whatever, you know, Callie.
And once again, we can debate, like, that episode was mainly just go out there, 11 gets more powerful, and then she changes, and I know there's a bit saying, like, people saying, like, 11's mom sent her out there so she can see what not to become, you know?
We had this talk off script, we're not really sure if, like, okay, so when she found out why her mom keeps rambling these, you know, things, rainbow, sun, you know, flower, whatever, she finds out the two things that we need in episode 7, which are, one, the identity of that man they're about to kill, because it was the guy who turned the voltage up that made her a vegetable, whatever.
And
secondly,
Callie.
Exactly. Yeah. So because of those two things, that sets the stage for episode 7. But why exactly Eleven's mother wanted her to go out there to see these things
We
is
don't
not
know.
made clear because, again, she can't really communicate that except for through her memories, which she does. So, I thought that was a great point of intrigue where we're not sure why she was sent out there. All I knew was that I knew for sure that she wasn't going to stay there. And I'm glad she didn't.
The Mike 11 reunion needed to happen this season. Like,
I think we all kind of knew it was going to end with the snowball, though. I mean, it had to.
You know, I wasn't thinking about it.
Really?
Like, yeah, because I forgot.
Season 1 where I'm like, oh, they got
Well, you watched season 1 before you watched season 2.
Oh,
right?
you didn't rewatch?
No,
okay.
And I kind of forgot that he asked her to the snowball. I just remember he missed her.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so happy when that's what happened. And when he was like, can you have one day? You know, or can she have one day? It's like, what's one day gonna do?
Just be the snowball.
Yeah. Which, the whole snowball scene was great. I thought that was such a good way to end the season. Like, because we got to see them
it sets the stage for the next, but also ties up everything.
And we got to see the kids be kids in this. And we've talked about this before.
Right.
As well.
For the first time since all this stuff started going down, or upside down, whichever way it is. You know.
My life got flipped, turned upside down. I can take a minute, just sit right there. So how many of the Prince of the Town called Bel-Air? So next week we talk about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the dad episode.
I'll just talk about Will Smith. Period. Talk about that man forever. Holy cow!
Maybe.
What a role model.
What was I gonna say?
I just had water spit up my eye.
Because of me?
No, because of me being an idiot.
So basically, season 2, I think we're in the minority thinking it's better than season 1 because I'm honestly starting to see. But and, you know, maybe I need to watch season 1 again. But I thought building off of it, it just only made it more interesting.
In the best way compared to other things who have built off of prior successes in a terrible way.
Yeah, like I haven't seen Independence Day 2, but I heard it's not great.
Yeah, I saw it. I was severely disappointed.
Yeah.
And
that was just like the first thing that came to my mind for whatever reason.
No, that should be the first. That's a classic example of what we're talking about.
I've never even seen Independence Day 1. I've seen parts of it. Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna educate me on video games. I'm gonna educate you in some cinema, and
I know there's got to be movies I've seen that you haven't seen.
Yeah, like the angry video game nerd movie.
No, actually, you've seen that though.
No, I'm talking about the classics.
Have you seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
But who has? Is that?
That's a great movie. Jack Nicholson's in it. It won Best Picture that year.
From when? What year?
I want to say the 70s, like 72, 73.
That's probably why I haven't seen it.
Yeah, but you know, there's good movies out there that we both haven't seen. But I have a lot of
but there's a lot of
movies
classics and staples in it, just about every film. Yeah, no. Anyway, that's a separate
conversation.
Yeah.
For the next podcast, no.
But for Stranger Things, though, all I gotta say is you're right. We probably are in the minority of thinking that 2 is better than 1 as far as seasons go. However,
and like I said, I do need to watch season 1 again and maybe get swept back up like I did, but I don't know.
However, they both are compounding on each other in like a harmonic way. And really, if you think that season 2 was worse than season 1 for not building off of season 1 in the right way, I would highly argue against. You know, I'd ask you, why do you think that?
Yeah, basically with season 2, I think it lived up to the hype. I think with all the trailers and everything, you know, everyone was getting excited.
Came out around Halloween too.
Yeah, and I think it hit every note it was supposed to. You know, it didn't have the same whimsy or everything, but that should be strictly to season 1. It should get darker. It should get more intense.
More down the rabbit hole, you know?
Yeah. So, I thought season 2, you know, did perfectly, and the only thing is episode 7. But when season 2 did things right, it did everything right.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the Duffel brothers left no stone unturned. They tried to cover all their bases. They made sure that they stuck, and they, you know.
Which is debatably a harder thing to do than
Especially
just create a
multiple.
show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's trying to hit everything perfectly. Like
look what Thor tried to do.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a better example of. Well, actually, I still think Thor improved on the Thor 3 improved on the Thor series, but Stranger Things 2 did it masterfully. Thor, debatable. But was there any other aspects of season 2 you really wanted to talk about, or?
Let me think. So, what did you? I want to talk about the monsters. So, what did you think about the Demogorgon, the Demodogs that came from the tadpoles, and then the Shadow Monster?
Okay. Demogorgon seemed more fierce than the Demodogs. Like, I was more threatened by the Demogorgon than the Demodogs. But the Shadow Monster, I mean, that's pretty threatening. It's this all-encompassing being and everything with the tunnels, and yeah, the fact that it didn't relate to Will this season, that did work, but once again, a whole other thing, but just, I don't think it needs to be how it works for the rest of this series. I would like to see him do something different.
Well, obviously, they weren't menacing just Will the first season. The Demogorgon killed Barb. I mean, it menaced a...
First off, Barb is not as big of a deal as everyone makes her out to be.
No, but I'm just saying, as far as monsters go, what I liked about... Really what I'm trying to get to is I like the animal characteristics they give to some of the monsters and how they come up with the idea. Like how the Demogorgon itself is supposed to be kind of like a shark. It's just this thing that can sense and it has teeth, and that's about it.
And
even its appearance, it smells blood. It's there's a scene in the pool where it's dragging Barb down, and it might as well have been a pool full of water with a shark in it. And how they even look up in the book how it's like a shark because it can smell blood, and Nance is the smart girl, so she figures that out. So that's great. The tadpoles, again, kind of going with like a amphibious kind of thing. There's almost a transition from water to land here with this shadow monster when we started out with the Demogorgon, going to the Demodogs, which kind of are like the, in-between transition animal-wise. Anyway,
I'm not really
I studied
getting
biology
the land
and
and water
evolution,
thing.
so it's just the connection. Maybe I'm trying to see something that's not there, but to me, it's very much there.
Okay.
The point is with the shadow monster, I liked how it wasn't one being; it was a hive mind.
Right.
And with that, I think that's really telling of the complexity that gets put into the thought for these different monsters. So I'm excited to see how this hive mind, if it ever is touched again, if it gets defeated, because how they defeated the Demogorgon, as far as we know, 11 just kind of used her psychic powers to kill this thing, which was invincible to bullets, we think, I guess. It was hit with baseball bats and lit on fire, and put in a bear trap, but that still didn't seem to faze him much.
So, the thing with, they lit on fire, I think the fire is like...
Well, it didn't like that, right, but...
Well, remember that's how it hurts, they hurt the tunnels and everything, remember they burned it and everything, so clearly fire is some sort of weakness.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, like, what can... Because it says, alright...
But it didn't kill them, but it hurts.
Right, but what I'm trying to get at is, you have these two dimensions sandwiched together, ours and then the upside down, and these things from the upside down are, for the most part, invincible when they come to our side, and we're very much vulnerable when we come to their side still. So, if this upside down is going to be a problem for the rest of the time that this series is around, I wonder at which point...
seasons, I believe, is the...
Right. So, at what point are they going to find a way either to, seal the dimensions off from each other completely, which I have a feeling in order to do that, 11 will probably sacrifice herself and stay on the other side forever, and they'll love each other. That'd be typical.
Which, can I get to just a real quick point?
Sure.
One aspect of season 2 that I thought was a little underwhelming was, we saw 11, disappear after she did that thing. And then, we find out within the second episode that she just kind of walked back through the portal. And then, wandered in the woods and everything.
Well, it's kind of commonplace for them to walk through portals. Nance did it.
No, but she didn't walk through a portal to get there. She evaporated.
But remember, these rifts are created with so much, energy or whatever that it rips dimensions. So she was obviously using so much power. Again, these are things that are kind of... you can almost say that they're complaints about the film, because so far we've just been seeing its praises. But
I like that you call it a film.
Sorry.
Because it's
Again,
so
it's
all put
directed
together
like
that it's
one.
almost like a
Yeah,
film.
but this series, the point is, what I'm trying to say is, is there a way that they're going to find this resolution by either separating the dimensions, or are they going to find a weapon to combat these things? Because so far the only thing that's been able to truly kill or harm these beings or these monsters or anything from the Upside Down has been 11 and her psychic powers.
Yeah.
So again, when she kills the Demogorgon at the end of season 1, she uses her psychic powers and somehow it makes it shatter into pieces and it teleports her to the other side.
Yeah, see, that,
I feel like there's more to that than what we got.
And I'm sure there is, but right now, just looking at it for what it is, it's like, okay, the Demogorgon, like, disappeared and everything, and I know, but 11 used so much of her power that she disappeared in front of Mike's eyes and everything.
And she also kills some Demodogs, too, with her mind.
Yeah, but she, like, snaps their necks and stuff like that.
But I'm just saying, so they have, like, internal bone structures?
Yeah,
so,
I guess.
Again, these are semantics.
But that's not really what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is a complaint for season 2 is how come, like, her disappearing in that
made her go
makes her just go to the Upside Down, and that she just kind of walks back through.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Like, how
hopefully that's addressed later on, like you're saying, like, once she does it, she might end up...
Like, how many rifts are there in the world right now?
Yeah.
Are there more than just the ones at Hawkins
And, like,
Lab,
she didn't really close the one in the school, she just walked through it.
But the big-ass one that the Shadow Monster has at the end that she has to seal, which, holy cow, I thought she was going to die doing that.
I'm so glad she didn't, because it would just be the same, same thing that happened at season 1. I'm glad
I thought it would have
Eleven
been precious though, because Mike, after finally realizing that his love is alive, and then she goes and sacrifices herself.
So this
it would have been
series,
sad, but it would have been genuine.
So one thing about this series, they besides Bob, which rest in peace Bob, and we probably won't be able to talk about Bob too much, but
and Barbara and Benny.
Yeah, what I liked Bob as what I'm saying is on this podcast. I like Bob. You like Bob too, right? Like at first it was like, oh, is he part of Hawkins, or is he just this? Is he just a innocent dude? And he's clearly this innocent dude, and he gets killed. And I mean, I enjoyed all of Bob's. I enjoyed Bob's story. And, you know, but oh god, I was going on a tangent, and
I don't know what you were talking about.
Oh no!
We were talking about the monsters, and then we were talking about 11 almost killing herself to close the rift. And you were going to say something about it? You're like, I'm glad that she didn't die closing the rift.
So basically, the show, we haven't lost too many people. We've lost kind of...
That's what I'm saying.
We've lost kind of insignificant characters.
Someone's going to die.
Yeah, no.
From the main group of kids.
Yeah, I'm thinking season 3, definitely someone dies, but I think they did it. I think most audiences did not want them to be that cruel to Mike and 11. I think they're... Now, something might happen to 11 in the future. Maybe even to Mike. Yeah. But I think, they were like, no, people want to see them together. Let's at least give them the snowball. But maybe that's...
As soon as
maybe that's all we get before the trauma, you know? Like...
Someone dies at the start.
But I think they just wanted to give them some sort of resolution, which, it would basically have the same effect of, Mike seeing 11, then it's basically Mike goes to the dance with 11, but say, I don't think 11 would probably, if she died in season 4, but it would kind of be the same thing, like if season 3 is trauma and season 4 is basically trauma as well, like without like a,
there's always going to be
resolution.
Trauma. It's just...
Well, what I'm saying is season 3 might not have a bow on it like season 4 does. It might have more of a cliffhanger than season 2. But basically, say season 3 and 4 are like one long story compared to like these other two.
I like how you're making all these predictions for the 2 seasons that haven't even come out yet.
But basically what I'm saying is it would kind of have the same effect if they were together during this and then all this stuff happened again, and then, if 11 dies, like really my one great moment with 11 was when the first little adventure and then like the dance, which I think Hopper's gonna let Mike come over all the time, but
we'll see.
It just depends how far after this next season will be, which I think it'll be a year, because the whole how long should it be before she goes out and everything?
I don't know.
Could be a year.
All I know is that just going back to talking about the monsters, with the Shadow Monster, it's obviously still alive, whereas the Demogorgon was very obviously dead because we saw it shatter into pieces.
Yeah.
The Demodogs look like they're related to it because they both have that tulip head kind of thing, but again,
I honestly think the Demodogs were just not fully developed Demogorgons.
Yeah, and that's what I hear a lot of people saying. So sure, let's just go with that. But then this whole Shadow Monster hive mind thing, again, how are they going to combat it? And we've talked about fire seems to hurt the roots or whatever, or maybe
at least harms them compared to bullets, which don't.
But I mean, it was parasitic, whereas the Demodogs and the Demogorgon were predatorial, and well, they're both, I guess, predatorial. But the point is that it's animal behavior, and I like to see how they're gonna combat it, or how they're going to either, if not combat it, just separate the dimensions completely and keep them closed. So
but we probably won't see that until season 4.
Yeah, and again, who knows when we're going to see any more of it. The point is that I really like what Stranger Things has done overall.
Yeah, and I like what they're setting up, and if they can remain this consistent, it's definitely going to go down as one of my favorite shows. I really hope it doesn't. I never watched Dexter, but the whole reason I didn't watch Dexter is because everyone complains about the ending. And I really hope if they can build off of season 2, like season 2 did to season 1, I'm going to be loving this show. I haven't seen Dexter, so I have no idea what you're talking about. But I know that for video games, a lot of times where it goes is like they put one out there and it has its quirks, but people tend to love the quirks. So they're like, okay, let's make a sequel. And then the sequel's good. They're like, okay, now let's try to do something a little different for the third one. It's like, the third one sucks. And it dies. So, I mean, look at Aliens. I know you haven't seen it, but Aliens 3 is considered the black sheep, the pariah, I heard it's not the worst of the series. I heard Resurrection. I think that's like
really.
Yeah.
Oh, well, anyway, the point is that.
But I know 3 is when things started to go wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. So, right, they tend to be consistent between season 1 and season 2. They tend to keep everything confined and contained.
But it's just harder as you expand to keep it. Yeah. But I won't be surprised if the later seasons are a bit longer, just to kind of deal with those factors. This one was 1 episode longer than season 1, so I won't be surprised if maybe it's like
it ends with 11 episodes.
I was gonna say I won't be surprised if it's like 12 episodes, just as the world continues to expand, just because they have to cover all these little things.
Episode or something. Or,
I don't know.
But anyway, it's been great. It's been a good ride so far. Hope they keep it up. I just know that there's so much more we can talk about, but we just don't have enough time.
Yeah.
But we love this show.
Speaking of time, and yes, actually, real quick, I love this show. I can't wait for season 3. God, I hope it's next year, but that might be pushing it. Yeah. But season 2, thumbs up. Season 1, thumbs up. Stranger Things, thumbs up. I'm gonna check the time real quick. So we even said there's more stuff we want to go talk about, like with Bob and everything like that, and other characters and how they developed, but the camera's running out of time, and this is going to be another 2-hour episode.
And most likely,
with 2 topics.
If you clicked on something that said Thor and Stranger Things, you probably already have your own ideas and your own opinions on this stuff, and have heard all the reviews.
And I think we talked about most of the points we wanted to talk about. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching episode 2 of the Squirrelcast. I'm trying to make it every 2 weeks. I know last time it released on Sunday. This one's probably going to come out Tuesday, Wednesday, because I have to edit it, and then the reason why I want to do it bi-weekly is it took all day to render this thing and then upload it. So then I couldn't use my Mac on the more episodes that need to be heavily edited, so. But it'll be more content that goes out on the channel, which I need while I continue to edit these videos. Eternal Darkness is going to happen hopefully soon. Trying before Thanksgiving, but either way. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Devin, thanks for being on. And we'll see if you're on the next one. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to try and keep it to every 2 weeks with the podcast.
Or at least twice a month.
Yeah, something like that. So, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Oh, don't... I gotta do this. Anyway, guys, if this is your first episode of the podcast, I definitely recommend liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing.
Go.
And come be a member of the community. Come be a member of the
Nut House.
Hibernation. But Nut House 2. The Reckoning. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. No, dance off screen, remember?
Why are we doing this?
I don't know, but it's tradition.
I lost a sandal.
Dance! Dance off screen. Dance this way.
I'm dancing. Darren, turn the camera off.